keeping content. The audience will see it in just a moment.
Cool.
Actually, I gotta get this closer so we can see comments on the content. Are we online yet? All right, everyone bear with us real quick. It looks like we're getting set up here. We got 16 seconds in, sweet. Once people start popping in here, if you can give us a heads up, if you can hear us, that would be great. It's hard to tell from this angle if we're getting much audio, so. Hey guys, we're here at Ibis headquarters meeting with a whole bunch of dealers. We're checking out some really cool bikes, including this beautiful bow tie right here. There weren't a whole lot of bow ties made, titanium, all of them made by hand in Northern California, and this is kind of a rare bird. These things go for like 6,000 bucks on eBay for a rough condition one. These are pretty darn special bikes. So I'm here today with Andrew Sherry from Canada.
That's right. Hopped across the border to come join Jeff down here and hang out at the Ibis headquarters.
Yeah, Andrew has a pretty unique story of the background in slopestyle at a pretty darn high level too. And I don't even know his entire story, so I figured we could do a quick little interview. We've got a few minutes as some dealers are checking out the Ibis Carbon Laboratory right next door to us. I did a quick teaser on Instagram. There's some really cool carbon production stuff coming along here in Santa Cruz. They're not making bikes currently to sell today, but that might change in the next couple of weeks or months, very soon here. So they've got some really cool achievements right next door. Let me check in on the stream real quick and we can get into an interview.
Sounds good.
All right, 14 watching. Got it. Audio is working, sounds great. Awesome. Cool. Thanks for the heads up, guys. Glad this is working okay. I'm gonna pull this closer so we can see your comments a little bit better. So Andrew, what's your deal with slopestyle? Is slopestyle big in Canada? Like, what is slopestyle?
I'd say slopestyle is still pretty big, even from a global scale these days. You've got a lot of talented riders that are riding some pretty incredible courses. With me, from my background, I've been riding for just shy of 20 years now.
20 years,
yeah.
Sweet.
Grew up in Alberta, moved out to BC to follow the passion of riding.
Is BC like the heart of slopestyle in the world?
I wouldn't say that that's necessarily where it began, but there's definitely a lot of influence from BC riders and BC trail networks that went towards the growth of slopestyle.
Cool.
So, yeah, it was a really fun ride, and I still enjoy doing it a bit.
Did you have a background in BMX, or is it just mountain biking?
Started off just on the mountain bikes, so there's a lot of people that have a BMX background that move over to slopestyle, but for me, I was on a mountain bike from day one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I come from a BMX background, and I'm used to seeing a bunch of BMXers get a mountain bike and then start doing super rad, like Paul Bass comes to mind immediately.
Definitely.
A whole bunch of other dudes too.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I was lucky enough to meet and ride with a few times.
Cool.
And at the same time, it was pretty amazing to be riding with somebody that I was looking up to.
So when was your first slopestyle competition?
Oh geez, I'd have to say that would be back in 2008.
Oh
so,
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
About 10 years ago.
Cool.
So there wasn't too many people watching. The courses were probably about half or a third of the size of what they are now.
Was that a Crankworks or?
My first one was Crankworks, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Imagine that, first competition, Crankworks dropping in. So 2008,
yeah.
I was there in 2007, and the course was legitimately gnarly, and there was a lot of people there watching. I'm sure 2008 was fairly similar. I can't imagine the nerves dropping in on that course with that many people screaming. Maybe it wasn't nerves, maybe you're just stoked, I don't know.
I was definitely nervous. At the top of the run-in, I had the shakes. And,
yeah, how'd your run go?
Decent.
Okay.
I never beat top 10.
Okay.
But I was in the top 15 with my qualifying. And
nice.
Crashed in my finals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, you made it into the finals. That's a damn good accomplishment.
Yeah, and the experience of everything, the camaraderie of all the riders was really great. Everybody was super supportive.
Cool.
And I think at that point, with the progression of riding, people were excited to see somebody do a new trick, and the crowd loved it, the riders loved it, so it was a really positive experience.
Sweet, yeah. Sweet. Let's check in on the comments here. We got a bunch. Sounds great. Excellent. Howdy, Ben. Reactive Race BMX, cool. Right on, guys. Well, if anyone has some questions for Andrew, be sure to pop them in here. Coming from my background's more enduro race, BMX, and we knew about slopestyle down here, but it wasn't that huge of a thing. Now up at Crankworks, it's huge, and the whole FMB World Tour has only grown over the years, so.
Yeah, the amount of stops that there are now with diamond and gold events is pretty amazing.
Did you ever do Rampage?
I never did Rampage.
Your femurs thank you.
That's right, yeah. Shout out to Mark Matthews if he's watching.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, I've never actually ridden in Utah, and it's been a big goal of mine. I've driven through it when we rode Crankworks, Colorado.
Yeah.
But it's on a bucket list.
So Winter Park then.
Yeah, we were up at Winter Park, and we did that for. I was there for 3 seasons or 3 years.
Which 3 years?
I couldn't even tell you right now. I'd have to go back into the memory bank for that.
Like roughly 2015, 14, 13?
Yeah, so we were there for the first year, and then I can't remember which the first year was, and then the following 2 after that.
Did you ride Banana Peel Trail?
We just stuck to the Slopestyle course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at Winter Park now, there's a legit trail. You have to like take a class or something before you're allowed to ride it, but it has legitimate, like maybe a tad smaller than the Crankworks course at Whistler features, but I remember seeing it on the chairlift and being like, dang, that looks pretty real. I think it's a little bit newer than that. It might be 2014 or 15 when they opened it.
It's amazing to see the size of trails that have been growing over the last 10 years, and the influence that they've had from the slopestyle courses. So that's really neat. I mean, for me, when I'm up riding in Whistler or Silver Star, wherever that mountain bike park is, you see these little shredders that are 10 years old that can probably jump further than I can now.
The Strider generation.
That's right, yeah, that's right. I wish I had one of those.
Right?
Yeah.
I think of Brendan Seamonek as the first Strider generation person to really take off.
Definitely, and from the beginning with Brandon, we're a few years older than him, but the moment that he stepped onto the course, right away, everybody knew. It was like, okay, he's the next generation. Yeah.
Well, that level of control has to come from like a lifetime of being on 2 wheels, and not just like from 5 years old training wheels, like from 2 years old or whatever.
Exactly.
And on. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I think being able to grow up in an area where there's so many options as far as mountain biking, you can just hone on his skills. And I have to say that Brandon on the psychological and mental side of things, he's really dialed in. He has that programming that he can actually have 50,000 people in front of him, shut that off, and focus on the riding.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you did the slopestyle thing from 2008 until?
I'd say I kind of pulled out of that around 2014, 2015. So actually, no, maybe 2014 was the last year.
Okay. And you were supported by Specialized at that time?
Yeah, so my final sponsors after my last season were with Specialized and Axis. I was riding for the SRAM team. Cool. It was all done through NSMB.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they had a really great team going on, and really enjoyed working with those guys.
Cool.
I'd say the injuries got the best of me. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then you transitioned from there to somewhere in between?
Yeah, I was always kind of working in bike shops, and after leaving that, moved into more of a management position. Really liked that, and then this opportunity came up to work with Ibis about 3 years ago.
Sweet.
And I've been really enjoying this side of things.
Cool, cool. So I used to work with the Mountain Exposure, the Ibis rep group up in Canada. Before I left Ibis in March 2015, and you must have started pretty soon after that.
Yeah, right after that.
Oh man.
The following September, October.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So close to working together.
Yeah, well now we're working together.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for all you guys watching, I'm hoping to do a bunch more content up in Canada this year. Hopefully we can make that happen. Pacific Northwest Components, these guys are carrying them up in Canada. They're helping me out with doing a series, and hopefully we can have a few stops up in Canada, so definitely stay tuned to the channel. Let's check on for some comments here. Let's see. Is a long travel Ripley in the works? That's a good question.
Good question, yeah.
Vincent Pira can't wait for Made in USA frames. That'll be sweet. That's definitely coming, and that's pretty darn cool. Let's see, any other question? Ben Cipollina, Lope's back on Ibis. Lope's just walked into the room and I almost asked him to come up here and ask Andrew questions, but he scampered off to the Carbon Lab. Let's see. Right on, guys. Kind of a quick impromptu one. Well, Andrew, hopefully we can ride in Canada next and do one of these up in BC proper.
Yeah, we'd love to have you guys come on board with us and watch us and take you out and show you around the trails.
Yeah, show me some tricks, can you?
I can try, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Sweet, well thanks for the interview.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you guys for watching.
Thanks,
Stay tuned
guys.
to the channel. Maybe we'll get another YouTube live before we go home for the day. Cheers. Now I can figure out how to end this thing. How much battery did this eat up?